Hi, I'm Bart Hanson. I'm the owner and lead instructor for CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record live at 2 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday. If you enjoy this video, hit that like button, and if you want to submit to be on the show, take a look at the information in the description. But he always said
Okay.
that round by round is stupid because it just always turns into PLO anyways at the end. And he
That's
was
exactly what
right.
I was going to say.
He was right. I mean, at least in LA. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. Do they have scheduled round by round games where it doesn't turn into PLO at the end? You know what I mean?
No. I mean, yeah, no. I mean, and that's actually a perfect segue to this hand because by the third bet we're at 25 big blinds,
Uh huh.
and it screws everything up, and that's actually why I wanted to see what you thought about it. To be honest with you.
Why, you mean because
So,
you're getting, it starts to get crazy straddled or something like this in this game?
well, it was open to 5x, and
Okay.
then we had a three better go 5x
So
to
how deep are
5x.
you guys? So it's 510,
I'm
right?
2K deep.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
5
1950 deep.
510, 2K deep.
Yeah, and
All right,
plus
tell us
one,
it.
he's got like 8K.
Okay.
Plus two's got like 2100.
Okay. So tell us the hand.
Yeah, so plus one opens to 50.
Okay.
Plus two, three bets to 250. Folds to us on the button, and we have queen queen.
How deep did you say that plus two was again? I'm sorry.
About 2100.
So
So just a little more than me.
So
Yeah.
let's eyeball these stacks. So plus one, who has everybody covered, raises to 50. Plus two
Oh,
makes it 250. You've got $2,000 on the button with queen queen, and now I guess you're kind of stuck between four betting and calling, right? I mean, we don't like to flat call three bets really, generally in the middle. And I've talked about this before where I will sometimes make a very large exploit and do it if I know the original raiser is not going to four bet with anything but aces and kings. But you can see whenever that shit goes down and there's competent players, empirical evidence, the Friday Night Live of the bike game, guys
mhm.
like Andy and Garrett, they will four bet if they're the initial opener, if you try to like flat them in between. But then some other
Right.
guys won't. They'll just call with ace king, right? I mean, in general, I understand the sort of the tighter configuration. The large open size to 50 seems a little bit on the fishier side. So even right off, and then the three bet to 5x right off the bat. I guess, and maybe this is what you're saying, like this is a function of the fact that the other round is PLO and people are used to the sizing.
Precisely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and these two villains in particular are PLO specialists.
They're PLO
So
specialists. I mean, I would
yeah,
just four bet. I mean, here's the thing, like if you went 50 and plus two went 250 and then you went say to 600,
mhm.
if plus one or plus two jam, I think you can fold. And it's not, you're not turning queen queen into a bluff, you're just raise folding for value. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you
No,
haven't
I do. I do.
quite put in one third of your stack, so you're not getting 2-1 coming back across the top. Now, if you want a four bet call, that's fine too, right? Like if you make it 600 and he jams and you call, you're just gonna have to make that decision. Calling is a
So
little bit dicey. I understand what you're saying because the pot is large. I probably wouldn't do much calling in this spot. It's probably not a insane mistake. Put it this way, calling is better than folding. Put it, I think, in this case.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so the thing that haunted me here, and this was actually at the table, was if I four bet to say 600, 650,
Yeah.
neither of these villains folds. And I know we're getting into player profile there, but let's
But
just
that's
assume
good
neither
though.
villain folds.
But that's good though. That's what
I
I'm
know.
saying. That's why you do the four bet to get the money to get just value, right?
Well, I mean it is, but here's the thing: like I only have 1100 back, 1200 maybe back,
Did you say you
right? And what
started
if
with
the flop comes
2,000
out
or less than that?
2K,
18.
1950? It
Oh,
was
no, okay.
1950, but
Okay.
close
Right.
enough to 2K. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Um, so yeah, I mean, if it, yeah, I guess it would be more like 1300, but still, it would be 1300 in an 1800 pot, right? And I mean, what if the flop comes out ace deuce three? I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
I mean, yeah, but you can't think of it that way. Like if you make it 600 or
mhm.
550 to 600, right? And one person calls you and the pot's 12 or 13 and you've got 1350 left, one pot size bet left, you just play the hand out accordingly. An ace is not going to be a good board for you. You're probably, I mean, you could, if an ace came out, you could make a tiny bet, a sort of equity protection, like a tiny bet of like 200. And that's consistent with like the rest of the types of holdings that you would actually bet there that would be very big. And then you just check it down. And then if you don't see an ace or a king, you know, you're basically betting to get it in. The interesting part here is that if you put that extra bet in with queen queen and then somebody calls and a king comes, I always find that interesting because you block king queen, and if you think that these are the types of players that are going to get in ace king preflop, then the king doesn't have a ton of relevancy. Where was this played out of? Quick question.
This is a home game. Home game here in Colorado.
Okay, you're not a
Yeah.
you don't go to Vegas much, do you?
A couple times a year.
Oh.
Not a lot though.
Some guy in the
Yeah.
chat thought that you were a dealer from Vegas, but it doesn't seem like it.
no,
do you know?
no.
Do you know who John Beaupre is?
I do. In fact, he plays at this game.
Okay, all right. Well, when you said
Yeah,
Colorado,
yeah.
when you said Colorado PLO No Limit, I played a huge Big O game back in Denver, like flew in for the game a few years ago. But so what did you do? Did you call?
I just flatted the 250 pre, and I
All
hate
right.
it, but
Okay.
yeah, and then this is where the hand falls off the rails. Yeah, so
Then what happens? Do the two people call plus one calls as well?
they both call. Yeah.
Okay. So now the pot is like 750-ish, right?
765. Yeah.
Okay.
Flop comes out 854 rainbow, pretty good flop.
854
We have a-
rainbow, and you've got like 17 to 1750 left in your stack. So I mean, you've got like
Correct.
2.5 pot size bets left. Okay. Yep.
So we have a check, and then our plus two, he goes to 350.
So check and plus two, 350 C bet. So about half the size of the pot. Okay.
It was super weird though, and that's something that I've noticed with PLO players is they're not very experienced with sizing their bets.
In no limit,
They're
right?
usually just going pot.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it was super weird. Even the way he put the chips on the table was weird. It was just weird.
I mean, you can. I don't think that. I mean, I think you can protect your stack here with the call because if you raise, you got to see what plus one's going to do behind you, and you're not protecting against that much if he has ace king, right?
Right. So precisely, yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like this guy could still have it, and like you said, I can't really jam here. I mean, I don't think I
Right.
can. I
So
guess that's a question for you.
So you call, and then does plus
I
one
call.
fold?
He calls.
Wow. So you guys put in 1050 here on the flop, so the pot is like just around 1800 and change, and you have you've got like
1350.
1400 left. Okay, that's interesting. So they both call 854 rainbow. All right, what's the turn?
Eight of clubs bringing a flush draw.
Okay.
Check.
Check. I mean, you have a pretty clear-cut check here. I mean, here's the thing. Even if plus one didn't overcall in this spot, that doesn't necessarily give you the green light to bet against plus two because plus two could be just checking here due to pot size, due to pot size, due to his his stack size and stack to pot ratio and his actual hand as well, right? Like his hand, in the sense where he just sort of naturally checking with like aces and kings. I mean, he's probably should continue to bet. Like you shouldn't have a whole lot of eights that you're flat calling a three bet with. But I'm just saying that if I were heads up against the plus two three better, if plus one didn't overcall the flop, I would still probably check back with queens, to be perfectly honest with you, on the turn. Now that you go bet and call, and you get an overcall on the turn, and these guys are PLO players where they might be playing middling cards, I would probably almost always check back here. What did you do?
Okay.
What did you do?
I jammed.
You jammed.
Yeah.
That is interesting. So
I never even considered
pure
checking. I got to be honest with you.
jams. I mean, here's the thing. Like, if you want to make an equity protection bet, so if you say you got about 1350 to 1400 left, right? And the pot's
Right.
got 1800 in it. If you want to make an equity protection bet and then just check back the river, you can bet super small. Why not bet like 4 or 500? Right? Like 25 to 30% of the pot. Jamming is just risking. You can never really get called by worse, I feel like. And you're risking your stack here. I feel like if you don't want to give off a free card. I mean, my initial reaction once it went call overcall, because that overcall is scary to me on the flop
Okay.
with these guys, right? I mean 350 half pot in a call and then an overcall? That's scary. That's why my immediate reaction was to check back on turn. But if you want to make an equity
Okay.
protection bet, then I would bet I'd bet like 400. I would not jam. So you jam and then did it get through?
No, it didn't. He plus one snaps and plus two folds. I never saw plus twos cards. But plus one, he has 7-8 offsuit. So.
Well, there you go. I mean, no one's supposed to really have an eight. No one's supposed to really have an eight there in a three bet pot, but I think that yeah, putting your entire stack in when you get an overcall on a ragged flop in a three bet pot when that top card turns is going to be very, very curious. But like for example, like let's say that you didn't get the overcall, right? And then the plus two, the three better checked on the turn. Yeah, I think you can probably. I mean, I think there. I was saying check back, but I think you could probably make an equity protection bet there on the turn if you were
Okay.
heads up against plus two. You know, you might bet 30 to 35% of the pot. And by the way, like to call that sort of turn variable sizing. You're making that size bet. It's a really sort of interesting size bet. The small turn bet in position when you're sort of making it with you. This is where you want to be balanced, where you're making it with your entire range of nut hands, semi bluffs, and equity protection. And then where you vary is at the end on the river, whether you want to bluff, whether you want to check back, whether you want to use a small value sizing. But it's very,
Okay.
very difficult for out of position to play against when you bet on a card like this on the turn for 30% because you can have all of those hands. You can have equity
Mm-hmm.
protection, you can have a semi bluff, you can have the nuts. And then the hand doesn't reveal itself to the river. So that's kind of the power position. But, anyways, I appreciate the call. If you like what you've seen here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this call in hand, hit the like button down below. To check out crushlivepoker.com, click on the link in the description. Use the code YTA300 to get the first 30 days for free.